We have found two of the highest quality mice with fantastic specs, shape, and build quality, yet no one is talking about them. They both also happen to have adjustable debounds and superb drag click coatings. No longer do you have to compromise to get a good drag click mouse, as these mice are among the best in all categories of Minecraft and gaming as a whole.
Move over Glorious, move over Rocket, it's Vaxee and Zowie's time to shine. He's Devin and I'm Eric, and today we'll be taking a look at the Zowie ZA13C and Vaxee Zygen MPO-S, two of the best mice for Minecraft that no one in the community has talked about.
I love the MPO-S. There is something about its shape that just makes me aim better. I tend to like ambi mice more than ergos, but the MPO-S actually has a lot of ambi features while still being ergo, which makes me like it a lot. The hump is fairly flat and towards the back end of the mouse. The buttons are relatively low and even with each other, and the mouse has not too aggressive flares on its sides and a bit of a narrow grip width, which makes it very comfortable for most styles of claw with almost all hand sizes. Also, the shallow and pushback hump makes it quite comfortable to palm. However, some might find this mouse a bit narrow to palm and should consider the MPO-1, the wider version of this mouse, which also is a bit taller.
This mouse comes in at around 75 grams with some cable. 75 grams is not the lightest, but is perfectly fine for a mouse this size, and provides a good balance of speed and stability. At that weight, the MPO-S makes no compromises in build quality, as it is built like a tank, second only to the XM1R. The sensor is the 3389, which is both popular and well-performing. There are no issues with tracking. However, this mouse does lack software, so everything including debounce is adjusted on board.
The clicks on this mouse are pretty good. They do have a bit of both pre and post travel, however, that was actually done on purpose to make the clicks feel a bit smoother. Unlike many other mice, the tensioning on these clicks are extremely uniform. No matter where on the button you click, you will get a very similar feeling. Many FPS players consider these clicks to be the best on any mice. That bit of pre-travel makes drag clicking on this mouse nearly effortless. On top of its fantastic grippy coating, this might very well be the best out-of-the-box drag clicking mouse on the market. Also, there is a button on the bottom of the mouse that lets you adjust the debounce, allowing you to lower it down to 2 milliseconds, allowing for easy double clicks and drag clicking. The wide buttons that are easy to double click make this mouse great for high CPS butterfly clicking. I have been able to hit over 20 CPS butterfly clicking fairly easily on the MPO-S.
The MPO-S is very good for spam normal clicking due to the well-tensioned buttons. For jitter clicking, this mouse is also pretty good, but the post travel can make jittering slightly less consistent. I can hit 13-15 CPS on this mouse, as with most others.
The side buttons on this mouse are quite good. They have really good clicks with a reasonable amount of travel and are located in a comfortable spot. However, the scroll wheel isn't so great. The scrolling is extremely loud and ratchety, and the scroll click is fairly stiff and hard to press. However, it is worth noting that with that loudness and ratchetiness, there does come very well-defined steps on the scrolling, so that might be a pro for some people.
Here's a sound test of all the buttons. The cable on the MPO-S and other Vaxee mice is braided, but is pretty stiff and thick. However, the stretch leaf is very angled, so the cable is good at staying out of the way. While you can sometimes feel the cable in use, it's not too bad. The skis on the mouse are nice and thick and have a larger surface area, lending to a slow and smooth glide on most pads. These are pretty solid feet, though not on the level of something like core pads. Now, onto the ZA13C from Zowie C-Series mice, which is a really unique shape that I really like. Easily in my top 3 along with the MPO-S and XM1R. Looking at the mouse, you can immediately see it has an extremely pronounced hump towards the back, more than any other mouse I own. When claw gripping this mouse, the high back seats itself into my palm all the way up to my knuckles, which gives me a very locked in and stable feeling. For Minecraft, I think this is fantastic as you want stable aim for tracking, though I find this mouse to be a bit difficult to micro-adjust with because of that high hump. Additionally, the ZA13C has very low buttons and a very narrow grip width, which makes the mouse feel incredibly precise in hand. I say the ZA13C is good for palm or relaxed claw grip for small hands, any type of claw grip for medium-sized hands, and aggressive claw for large hands. Those with large hands may want to consider the ZA12C, and if you're a giant, the ZA11C may be for you.
This mouse feels very light in hand. Thanks to its good weight balancing and 68 gram weight, I'm impressed by how light and well built this solid shell mouse is. There is zero flex on every area of the mouse other than right around the side buttons, with only minor flex there.
The sensor on the ZA13C is the 3360, which is a popular flawless sensor, so no worries with tracking. Like Vaxee, the main buttons on Zowie mice also use Huano switches. However, the implementation is nowhere near the level of Vaxee's. Zowie mice have buttons which aren't separated from the shell, which leads to a more dull click with less consistent travel. Towards the front of the button, there's a considerable amount of pre and post travel. However, this becomes less of an issue the further up you click. The clicks on the ZA13C are incredibly light, however, nearly as light as those on Logitech mice. I would say these are decent overall clicks. In Minecraft, the ZA13C most specializes in drag clicking. You can lower the debounce in all Zowie C-Series mice by holding the back side button when plugging the mouse in. Due to the long buttons and fantastic grippy coating, I can drag click up to 50 CPS on this mouse, which is more than enough to god bridge, reduce, and extend. For butterfly clicking, the ZA13C struggles due to the extremely narrow buttons. If you have medium or larger sized hands, it will be hard to fit 2 fingers on the buttons due to their width. I can butterfly over 20 CPS on this mouse, but I tend to average around 16. For jitter clicking, the ZA13C is not bad as the clicks are very light. However, the travel on the buttons can make jittering a bit inconsistent. I can hit 13 to 15 CPS on it, but not quite as consistently as something like the X1R or G Pro X Superlight.
The side buttons on this mouse are quite good. They have minimal pre-travel and a bit of post, and feel relatively tactile. The scroll click on this mouse also feels great to me. There is no pre-travel and a bit of post, giving it a softer bottom out. The scroll wheel itself has very well defined steps, but does sound a bit ratchety, particularly when scrolling upwards.
Here's a sound test of all the buttons. The cable on the Zowie C-Series mice is the most flexible stock cable I have tried, so much so that it's a bit floppy. It's more flexible than the cable on the X1R and Pulsefire Haste, and on par with an aftermarket paracord I own. The stress relief is also massive, which keeps the cable mostly raised above the pad in a bungee. This cable is fantastic, and there's no reason to replace it.
Now that we've gone over the performance of both mice, it's time to talk about the value.
Both of these mice are on the expensive side, with the ZA13C costing $70 and the MP01S coming at $65 with around $10 of shipping. While $70 is a lot for a wired mouse in 2022, you do get what you're paying for, as both of these mice are very high quality and have very good, unique shapes.
If you want these shapes, you will have to pay these prices. Unlike many other mice, these have no clones. The value could be better, but these mice are by no means bad deals. For the higher price, you are getting a fantastic quality mouse.
Vaxee and Zowie both have wireless releases of other shapes coming in the near future, and with the quality they bring with their wired mice, I am eager to see what they will do with wireless.